Hey everybody, Parks Alza here with Score.gg, joined by PowerofEvil, the mid laner for CLG. Congratulations on the win. We got to see you really pop off on the Kassadin, which was really fun to watch. We don't get to see it very often. So what were your thoughts? Why'd you pick that? Is it just because of the Corki, or were there other things kind of going into play there?
Well, as you mentioned already, Kassadin is a really unique pick. You can't pick it in multiple situations. It's a really rare, viable pick, I would say. In the situation, it was perfect since they had double AP on both solo lanes. Corki doing AP damage, Rumble doing AP damage. So if I ever get into the game where I get a few kills, I just know no one can handle me on the side lane. And not only can I just get turrets in their face, but I can possibly just kill them all. So the game just went on, I got a few kills, and that's just how the game went.
Yeah, you definitely did the whole kill them all thing. 9-0 and 3 at the end of the game. It didn't really start off super great for you guys. They got an early Ocean. They kind of had some control over the early game, which makes sense. You are a lot of scaling champs.
Yeah.
But what was kind of your thoughts as that started to unfold when the game started?
Well, obviously the RNG was in our favor. First drain was Ocean. We already realized that level 1, when you come out of the base, you're like, damn, first drain is Ocean. And we are playing Kassadin and Jinx, right? They have the early game comp. So we tried to contest the first Ocean Dragon. I think that I got the first kill there was really helpful for my lane, since if Corki would have just gotten the Ocean Dragon, it would have been 0-0-0 that fight. Or it would have been kind of bad, since Ocean Dragon helps would have helped Kassadin or Corki a lot in this matchup, since both are kind of just poking each other in the early game of the state. And yeah, I think at this point we were just like, okay guys, let's just take it slow now. Let's try to not give up too much. I think we gave up the Herald pretty bad. I think that was unexpected. That was good by Clutch Gaming and bad by us, so we need to review that. But besides that, I think the early game and mid game we played it really good. Took these dragon fights, got the lead in these fights, and then just snowballed it.
Was there any concern about picking the Kassadin there, though? I mean, you mentioned it is obviously good for those two side lanes, but you already had a lot of late game scaling.
Well, actually, we had a little discussion. I was suggesting Syndra or Kassadin. I was suggesting multiple picks. I was like, I think Kassadin looks really good here, but then I think actually Travis or 6A says, I think Syndra looks good here, and I was like, yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind picking Syndra too. I think it was a good situation. But I'm happy that we ended up deciding for the Kassadin, since it was just too much of a perfect pick there for both, as I said already before, against top and mid, it's just too good. And even so, we have a lot of scaling. We just need to get to 1-2 items. Even if we are 2k go down, I think if you have 2 items, we just win.
I feel like you might be saying you were really happy you picked it just because you had a lot of fun that game. But, yeah, it did work out. Syndra probably would have worked as well. I thought maybe Ori, just because, it's a Jinx. Just throw the shield on Jinx, give her more tools to work with.
For sure, Orina would have worked as well. Yeah, I just like to have the aggressive version. Orina Syndra are really similar to a point, but since we had the scaling on bot lane, instead of taking the Orina, which is I'd say 45% defensive, 55% aggressive. I feel like Syndra is a little bit the other way around, so I would have probably hopped into Syndra.
That makes sense. Always going for the aggro picks makes sense. It's a power move.
For sure.
So this seems like something that Clutch does a lot. You've been winning a lot with the Psy on top, just full tank. Just scale a little bit, play maybe a more controlled game, make sure that you get to these late game situations, and then just play well as a team. So that's credit to you guys. When will we see the flip side of just 3 hard winning lanes, Wiggly, gank people and get some kills and just kind of steamroll? Is that something that you even want to work on, or are you still focused on other types of play?
Well, I think we are pretty good at different types of styles. Today, as example, we played the 1-3-1, I think in a really good way, and later on, I think 1-4. So we are able to play multiple styles. And even so, we picked today's scaling. The scaling was winning the lanes. Okay, Corki is pushing me in, but as soon as I hit level 8, 9, I actually start winning my lane. So even so I'm a scaling pick, I'm winning, right? And I think it was the same for the Jinx. So the Jinx is a really hardcore scaling for late game. But the Jinx outranges Sylvia so hard that we got the push most of the time. So we picked champions who would win their lane but have good scaling, I think.
So I'm curious how the game is changing now. Every patch brings small things. We've seen tiny nerfs, here and there to, Aatrox. Maybe you don't play it as much mid now. But with the crit changes to AD carry, that changes the bot lane, which does kind of change, what is viable mid and what is viable elsewhere. So what do you feel like you can maybe start to kind of play around with mid since crit is back?
Well, obviously, Corki came in to the mid lane, especially since the crit changes, the items are a little bit stronger. Corki comes back into meta. I think we will see, or we already saw like multiple new AD carries like Jinx coming in. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be like a Tristana coming up soon as well. So that's just like, I think just new AD carries and possibly a few new mid laners coming in to play for the new AD carry items, just to play around it.
But so you don't really necessarily think like any big changes. I mean, we saw Aurelion Sol. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Obviously, Kassadin.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. That's just a Hui special. I think obviously Azu. I feel like mid lane champs that are affected by the items are getting stronger, or like they'll come into meta. And I think champions that can affect the bottom lane balance. So maybe roam champions like Aurelion Sol helping out the bot lane, getting the snowball for the crit items. I can see something like this happening.
Any chance that Talia comes back in, since that's a big roamer, or still just kind of jungle only and also not very strong?
Yeah, I'm pretty sad. I think the Q spell nerfs were kind of too hard. Like, I think her not having the AoE anymore in the Q makes the mid lane really like weak. And there's just too many champions that either outrange her or just deal way too much damage for her, like weak, I think like health and magic resistance and stuff like this. So she's, I think right now, sadly only a jungle champ, even like if even.
Any thoughts on some like mid lane assassins? Zed, Talon. Talon's a good roamer. Fizz.
Well, I really like Talon. I think Talon is a really funny champ, and I think I played it last year in Optic a few times. So Talon is always a pocket pick for sure. You can play it in certain matchups. Zed coming to play, pretty excited about that one. This one is gonna be good. And Fizz, I think has a few good matchups, but it's hard to play since there's like champions like Tom Kench who could just like, he just eats your ult and you're just like, that's so sad. It's so sad.
The frog eating the fish.
Yeah.
I guess the actual ruler of the sea is an amphibian.
It is.
A bummer for that one. Well, that's cool. It'll be fun to see kind of changes as we move forward. Anything that you're working on specifically this season? I mean, obviously a new team. You guys are doing pretty well. But yeah.
Well, I'm working specifically with Ray of Wiggly, getting better mid-jungle synergy. I think it took us a while to get in shape, 2v2, knowing being on the same page, and I think we still struggle from there, like here and there, but I think we are improving it every week, and we just need to keep working on it because mid-jungle is really important, especially in competitive, so just gotta work on that.
Awesome. Before we go, I want to touch on something. You mentioned earlier in an interview that you like playing in NA because you feel respected here. What is that about? Like, is it like players give you more respect in game? Is it just general attitude, like in conversations with people, like maybe coaches listen to you more, stuff like that?
I think there's multiple reasons. I would say one of them is that I think the attitude of players is really nice. I think I can work with most of the players. I think I have good relationships with most of the players. And last year, I think I was 9th and 7th place in Optic, and I still got voted second best mid laner in NA, which showed that a lot of coaches, a lot of players had respect for me, or like even mid laners I faced, voted me for like second or third best mid laner, which means, yeah, they saw, okay, he's or like they're not doing good team success, they're not doing good as a team, but he still is really strong individually. Every time I face him, he's really strong. It's a effort to beat him in lane and stuff like this. So that's one of the main reasons.
Cool, awesome. Anything you miss about Europe? I mean, you've been here for a little over a year now.
Well, I had a long off season, so I had a lot of time to spend with family and friends, with just some YouTubers. So right now, I'm just happy to be in NA and get to playoffs.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for the interview, and thank you all for watching.
Thank you so much.
We'll catch you next time.